What's up, people? Doing a quick video. This is the Demko AD-15. It's his new folder with the Scorpion lock. Real quick, I'll do the specs. I measured them yesterday, but I kind of forget. But you're looking about 8.5 inches overall length, with a blade length of just over 3.5, maybe a little less than 3 3/4 from tip of blade to the handle. But cutting edge, you're looking at right around 3.5. Got my calipers here. Zoom out. Blade stock on this. You're looking at $186 thou, maybe a little more, 187, somewhere around there. It'd help if I get it down there. So 187, 188, somewhere around there. Handle width 0.057 inches. Blade steel on this is 20 CV. It's obviously a satin finished, belt finished blade with a hollow grind and a swedge on top. Handle scales, this is carbon fiber. It's more like the peel ply, but it's not. It's real carbon fiber, if you can see on the side here. It's not like the laminated, it's just textured carbon fiber. Titanium pocket clip, titanium lock, and titanium liners. Centering is pretty much spot on. So this is the new lock. Obviously it's kind of just a play off the lock back. I brought this out just for reference. You know, a typical lock back, you press here, it lifts the back spring up, and it's kind of hooked and grooves into the blade. If you can see on there, there's the spring that holds a portion of the lock up, and you push down on that spring, it lets the lock lift up and lets your blade close. This is pretty much the same thing, except it's all external, and instead of pushing down on anything, you essentially just pull this lock up like that, and it doesn't groove like a normal lock back. It's essentially just a gigantic stop pin back there that falls into the blade. And as you can see, the back spacer moves. It's essentially the spring back there. I will probably do another video after this one where I take it apart, but and if you can kind of see here, you can disengage the lock if you press back there far enough. So basically it's like a lock back, instead of having a detent there to push down on, you have to lift up. Easiest way I found to open it, or close it, excuse me, is use your 4 fingers back there. Just kind of reach back, pull up, and pull down. You can also close it like this, but it's more of a motion. And as far as closing goes, the fastest I can close it is basically when I'm standing up. If I were to cut something, you can just grab the lock bar like this and kind of shuck it closed like that. It's kind of hard to do behind the camera, but standing up I can do it very easily, and that's pretty much how I close it if I'm actually using it. But action on this knife, it's nice and smooth. It is running on his same thing as the AD-10. I believe he uses like a nylon washer. The white washers, nylon, Teflon, whatever they are. Like I said, really thick blade stock. You know, you're looking at 187, 188 thou blade. It does come down to pretty lean hollow grind. It is a high hollow grind. It's something like 0.025 behind the edge, which isn't bad. It cuts pretty decently for the cardboard I cut. You know, obviously it's not like the best slicer in the world, but it is a big overbuilt beefy folder. So it does cut still relatively well for its size and blade stock thickness. Ergos on this knife, it's really comfortable. It's just as comfortable, I'd say, as an AD-10. Pretty much any grip. It is a lot thinner in width this way than an AD-10, the blade and the handle. Kind of give you a straight up and down. So it's not as wide up here or in the blade. I also, a lot of people on Instagram ask me which one do I prefer. All in all, the design of this knife I like better as far as the slimness. It's got a more pointy blade shape. This, it's a little more obtuse up the top tip. It's not as pointy. They're both comfortable. I mean, either one's a great knife, honestly, in my opinion, as far as if you're going to go hard use folders. They're both fine. I do like the general design of this one, it being a little slimmer, and it looks to be like the blade to handle ratio's a little bit better. So, that being said, I do like my AD-10 probably better, just for the sheer fact that I did get this with thinner blade stock than most AD-10s. This is like 155 thou stock, and it's also a high hollow grind, but this thing's like 0.014 behind the edge, 1.5 maybe. So, but overall look and design, I do like this knife better. The knife on the lock back here, it also has a secondary lock, kind of like the locks. I don't like the CRKT locks. How important is that? Or, I mean, I don't even really know if it needs it, to be honest. All it does is not let this come all the way up so you can't shut the blade. It's kind of whatever for me. It does have a reversible pocket clip. The pocket clip on these ones is longer and slender than the AD-10. Both of these pocket clips, they're more the spring style, and they both function very well. So this one may be a little bit better, but it definitely functions well. I've used it in my work pants, which are a little thicker, usually hard to get in and out of the pocket with knives, jeans, whatever. It's worked fine. So, like I said, I like the blade shape, the ergonomics, the grind. He does a nice job grinding. You can tell it's hand ground. I mean, you look up at the swedge, it's a tad bit not even perfect up there, but I don't mind that because it just means they actually did it by hand. So, beyond that, the negatives of this knife, two things that I can point out that aren't like crazy, but one, when I got it, the jimping was a little bit obscene for me. Like, honestly, it's just super sharp, and I didn't like it. I actually sanded it down a little bit, and I'm actually going to take the knife apart and do it a little bit better. The other thing that I can give a little hit on is this finger choil's a little bit small. If you can kind of see, when I put my finger on, it wants to ride all the way up. So beyond that, there's no real big flaws. And if you do order one of these, I actually mentioned it to Demko, and he was like, well, if you want, I'll make them with thinner blade stock. And he also said, when you order it, if you want a little bit dialed down jimping, he'll do that himself. So that's just with this. And I'm sure if you have big paws and you're worried about using this choil, he could extend it a little bit. But those are the only two hits I can really give this knife. Other than that, it is solid as hell. I mean, honestly, there is no play. I mean, I can ram the shit out of this thing. Like, there's just no play. And honestly, that lock, it's kind of like a frame lock. Like, if you're gripping hard, the lock's not going to move over. This is the same thing. But it has to lift up to disengage. So if you're grabbing it hard and you're cutting something, you're pushing against the lock, it's not going to come up. But honestly, I think it's a pretty badass folder. I think the lock's pretty neat. Like I said, it still functions like a lock back. And here you can see there, I don't think I mentioned it, there's two stop pins, one on each side there. I don't believe they even contact this lock bar at all. As you can see there, it doesn't. They are for the close position. When you close the knife, they do hit the top of the handle, the titanium on the handle skills there. So, same old big Demko pivot. So you can get these full tie, different G10s, whatever. All in all, I think it's a pretty awesome knife. Definitely dig the design. Like I said, I do like it. The profile of it, definitely better than the 10. I just think the blade to handle ratio is a bit better. I like it's a little more slender, and honestly, like the pointiness of the blade, I dig that as opposed to it's a little less on my AD-10. So that's this knife in a nutshell. I may do a video of me taking it apart just so you can kind of see the internals, but that's it for now. I'm out.